Hey guys, today I'm going to make a quick video on how to tank Spellblade Aluriel on Mythic difficulty. First, I'm just quickly going to go over and show what talents I choose to use and why I choose to use them on this fight, and also what gear I used. So I'm not really going to go over the gear because I'm using the 4 set, of course. I'm using the gloves because I happen to get a 915 Titan Forged. You can use pretty much whatever tier set you have. The helm is alright, it's crit mastery. Here you get crit versatility, so it's what do you want more? You want mastery or versatility? I choose to go for a little bit more versatility most of the time. But for trinkets, I actually ended up using, if I can find it, this setup. So I used the legendary trinket, and I used the Dark Moon deck Immortality. There's quite a lot of damage because the way we did this tank soaking. Quite a lot of physical damage going out on the tanks, and having the Dark Moon deck Immortality there just helps soak a little bit of that damage. You can go with pretty much any trinket setup. If you don't have the legendary trinket, the other trinket I would say to use would be something like the where is it? The Scorpion trinket. It's a bit more stamina, and it has a bit of an absorb shield, 1.1 million. You can also, if you really need to, you can use this one, the Infernal Construct. Puts a massive absorb shield on you and reduces damage taken by 50%, up to that absorb shield. Other trinkets that you could use would be something like maybe the Royal Dagger Haft. I don't think this is a really good tanking trinket for Guardian Druid, but on this fight it could save you a little bit maybe. If you die from the Felad, you shouldn't really die for that, but if you die from something like the Annihilate, I'm not really going to go into what other tanks could use, but I would say something that reduces physical damage taken. Something that could maybe give you another cooldown, because this fight is pretty heavy damage intensive when you're solo soaking Annihilates, if that's the strategy you choose to go with. So just to go over the quick talents I'm choosing. For this fight I choose to have Bristling Fur. You can use this in combination with Annihilate to give yourself a ton of rage to give up more like 3 to 4 Iron Fur charges. I decided to go for Wild Charge. This is really good when you're tanking the Fel Solad, because it will knock you back with Decimate when this is happening during the backpedaling of the boss in an Arcane phase. It's a really good way to get back to the boss. I use Resto Affinity for the extra healing. This is pretty much your default unless you know that you can have some downtime where you can go into Feral and go for some cat weaving. I went with Mighty Bash because it can help stun the fire ads. They do quite a lot of damage on Mythic difficulty if they get a spell cast off, and being able to stun them just for a quick second is really helpful. Typhoon could be used, but you could risk knocking them into each other, and then that would be a wipe for the raid. Mass Entanglement is not really useful. Go with Galactic Guardian. This is pretty much the default for any situation, and I think it is really good. Gives a lot of rage. I go for Guardian of Elune because it is our default choice. Get the more duration on your Iron Fur Makua Soul. It just adds up to so much, and also the increased Frenzied Reach and healing. Survival of the Fittest. If you're really struggling with cooldowns, could be a talent you would be up for taking. It reduces the cooldown of your Bark Scare and your Survival Instincts. We just pop into bear form here. It was 1.3 minutes and 4 minutes. If we take for Survival of the Fittest, we go on to 54 seconds and 2 minutes 67. So if you feel like you need the extra cooldowns, then Survival of the Fittest could be a choice for you. I go with Rend and Tear because I feel like it's more consistent. When you're on something like the Felad, you don't really have the time to put up 2 Thrashes to make Pulverize good. If you're used to taking Pulverize, maybe try and take Rend and Tear even if you don't have the legendary legs. But that's about it for my talents. Now let's go into the video guide. I'm going to pull up the POV from my point of view here for the guide. So let's start playing it, and I'll go over what you need to know for the exact points in the fight. So if we just let it run, it's a pull timer. I'm going to pull the boss. Sorry for the bit of lag here. I've experienced a bit of lag on my Shadow Play. So here I'm going to take the first Annihilate. I'm not going to be the first one to soak the two Annihilates solo. As soon as this Annihilate is gone, my Co-Tank's going to taunt off of me. And I'm going to take the Fell Soul out, quickly throw a Taunt and a Thrash on it. Get some threat. It's very important that you get it over here really fast so it has longer to spin. I tried out a tactic here where I stood up on this ledge, but I found that if you use this tactic, the boss can kind of go up on the ledge and get stuck there. Like he was kind of stuck up there. If it starts spinning up on a ledge, the fight will reset. So I feel like it's quite a lot of risk to take. You don't really want to reset it when you're having a really good attempt. This actually happened to us. So now here I'm just spamming some Moonfires out just to maybe get a Galactic Guardian proc. Get some more rage. Here I'm going to use Iron Fur to hit with Decimate. And then basically after this, that Decimate, you can go over and get ready to take the ads. I throw a quick Thrash and then taunt that thing, the last ad, over to us. I'm going to pull them on top of the boss. And just tank them here. In this situation, you can use Stampeding Roar. I don't think I'd end up using it here, because our melee found it more annoying than helpful, because they move so much faster for the pushback. If this is something that your melee is comfortable with, then maybe that is something you should do. So here now the Fell Soul ad is going to spawn. Because my Co-Tank has the Annihilate debuffs, I'm going to taunt the boss. And I'm going to be the next one to soak. Here we're in the fire phase with the Searing Brands. On Mythic difficulty, those Searing Brands, the charges do quite a lot of damage. You see them dropping people down to half health. We're going to pull, the Detonate is going to come off, and here we're going to get ready for an Annihilate. So you kind of have to plan your cooldowns here. I think I'm going to use a Survival Instinct just to get it over with nice and easy. Couple that up with a Frenzied Regen. And then we're basically just going to move the boss, because right now she's not going to do any Annihilates for another 20 seconds. So we can kind of put the boss in the middle of these. Use the Rage of a Sleeper just to take a bit less damage, do a bit more damage, help our healers out, help our DPS out by maybe doing a bit more damage. I'm going to move the boss back, because in 5 seconds he's going to do an Annihilate. I'm actually not sure if it's a he or she, it doesn't really matter. Here's another Annihilate. I'm going to use a Bark Skin, and I think I'm going to use a Bristling Fur, and I'm going to get Blessing of Sacrifice. And I'm going to couple that up with with a Frenzied Regeneration. So here my Co-Tank is going to taunt the boss again. I'm going to take aggro on the Fell Soul lad. Do struggle a little bit here, but here we do get aggro. And in this phase, Fell Soul lad is going to do a Frontal Cone Slash that hits you for around 30 million damage. You cannot solo soak all of these. You might be able to soak one. But that's about it. You want to aim this at the entirety of your raid. And then when you're backpedaling here, you're actually going to see in a couple seconds she's going to do a Decimate. It seemed to bug out a little bit here. It didn't knock me back. Actually, none of these Decimates ended up knocking me back. This Fell Soul ad is a bit buggy, but if it had knocked me back, I would use my charge to get back in. Because right after that, there's going to be another Fell Lash. So here now, we're just going to be killing these ads off. Our healer's going to sit down and drink. And then as soon as this is over, we have a bit of downtime. So I'm going to help my Co-Tank soak this. Don't really take that much damage from it. I have a few Iron Furs up. Yeah, I'm going to taunt the boss. Now it's the other way around. He's going to be having the Fell Soul ad in the Frost phase. So you can kind of see what I'm going to be doing mostly with the Fire ad in the Fell Soul phase. As you can see here, he is going to be standing over in the same corner I stood in, up against the wall for Decimate to not get knocked back. There's an Annihilate. I think I'm just going to use another Survival Instinct. Didn't have to use the Bristling Fur there, but at this point it was kind of more being safe than sorry. Didn't really want to risk dying at this point because we had a really good attempt. This did end up being the kill, and we're 27% of the boss in the second Frost phase. So at this point I just want to be safe. I wanted to know that I can survive these next ones. So here's something you can do. Like, you do get pushed back pretty far as a tank. If you can pull the boss all the way over to the wall, you can kind of use the wall and just keep getting pushed into the wall and you won't really move. Here it comes to the second Annihilate. I'm going to use a Bark Skin. Use a bristling fur and then a frenzied regen. Get a sacrifice a bit late, but it ended up working out. I'm just gonna taunt and thrash the Felsoul lad. So you're gonna see the Felsoul lad is gonna jump out, and then it's gonna jump back to me, leave a green pool on the floor, and then throw in a decimate that knocks me back. You see that me there. Use my wild charge to get back in. So here I'm just gonna move back into the original green pool. Make sure that the Felsoul lad lands in the corner, and then we just stack up these. The dot doesn't really tick for that much, so you don't really have to worry about it. Just pop a Mark of Soul, and then you should be fine. I think it's going to jump one more time, and then back to us. Again, Mark of Soul to help mitigate the damage. So here right now my job is basically just to run around, maybe throw out a few interrupts. Here I'm going to throw out a bash just to stop the cast. Then I'm going to stop moving back towards the boss because that's a dying. And I'm going to taunt the boss after this Annihilate. I'm going to help my co-tank soak this Annihilate. Just pop a Rage of a Sleeper, start doing some more damage. And then now here you have to make a pretty fast decision because orbs are dropping everywhere. You kind of have to know, like, okay, where do I want to move the boss? So I decide to move it out here. And the boss is pretty much going to die here, but now that we just moved it towards the center. And then you should kill the boss after this. If you don't, then the boss enrages, gains a lot of attack speed and a lot of damage, and it's just going to go around one-shotting people. If you find that you're very far off here at this point, then it is pretty hard to meet the enrage timer. But what we had like a rogue, 2 rogues pretty much just sit on the boss the entire time. And well, good luck on the fight. Hope you get the kill and enjoy your loot. Thanks for watching.